You know that feeling when you finish a story and it's incredibly powerful, just devastating, but something feels a little bit off? Almost like it's not the complete picture? Well, today we're digging into a fantastic idea from Aldous Huxley that explains exactly that. He argued that there are really two ways we tell stories about life. One that he called pure tragedy, and another that embraces what he called the messy, complicated whole truth. So this forces us to ask a really basic question, right? When a story laser focuses only on the most tragic parts of an experience, are we really seeing everything? I mean, is a story built on pure, relentless suffering ever really the whole truth? Okay, to really get his point, Huxley lays out these two opposing ideas. On one side, you've got pure tragedy. This is where reality gets simplified down to give you this incredibly potent, concentrated shot of a single emotion. But on the other side, there's the whole truth. And that is messy, it's complex, it's much more like actual life, mixing the good, the bad, and the just plain bizarre. To show us what he means by the whole truth, Huxley actually takes us all the way back to the very beginning. He looks at the ancient epics, which he thought were the original and maybe the best blueprint for telling a complete human story. So what is it really? Well, at its heart, the whole truth is any kind of art that refuses to shy away from life's contradictions. It shows life as it really is, a place where something absolutely heartbreaking can happen right next to something totally ridiculous. It's all about that balance, giving us a complete, unflinching picture of what it means to be human. And Huxley's prime example is Homer's Odyssey. Just think about the main character, Odysseus. He's not just some tragic hero defined only by his suffering. I mean, yeah, the guy suffers a lot, but he's also a person who lies, tells bad jokes, gets into petty fights, and makes some truly boneheaded mistakes. In other words, he's completely and complicatedly human. And this quote from Huxley just nails it. Life doesn't fit into neat little categories. It's not just a comedy or a tragedy. It's everything, all at once. And for Huxley, the greatest art is the art that reflects that beautiful, chaotic mix. Okay, so now let's flip over to the other side of the coin, pure tragedy. Huxley saw this as a whole different beast. Sure, it's incredibly powerful, but he argues that, by its very nature, it can only ever give us a partial view of what's real. So how does tragedy get that gut-punching effect? It does it by simplifying. It basically filters out all the distracting everyday details, all the absurdity, the humor, the just plain boring stuff, so it can focus our attention with laser-like intensity on noble suffering and the crushing weight of fate. And this brings us to Huxley's most brilliant metaphor, the key to this whole thing. He says to think of it like chemistry. Tragedy is like a chemically pure element. All the impurities, all the other stuff has been burned away, leaving just one, potent, refined emotion. But life? Life is a messy chemical mixture, a compound of a little bit of everything. And this right here is the key difference. Pure tragedy feels clean, refined, separate from the chaos of our lives. The whole truth, on the other hand, just dives right into that chaos. It's impure, just like we are. But Huxley believes that it's in that very impurity that we find a deeper, more profound kind of honesty. So this leads to a huge question. If the ancients were all about the whole truth, what happened? Why did that change? And why, according to Huxley, did the modern world eventually swing back towards it, leaving pure tragedy feeling a little out of date? Well, Huxley argues it's because our entire consciousness shifted. We just became too aware of our own psychological quirks and contradictions to believe in a simple hero. We developed a sense of irony, this ability to see the absurd comedy that's hiding in even our darkest moments. We just started that demand more complexity. And this is the real kicker. Hugh believed the modern mind simply knows too much to buy into the noble simplicity of pure tragedy. It's like we've all looked our own despair in the face and seen something kind of ridiculous staring back. For us, that intellectual honesty is just more compelling than emotional purity. All right, so let's just pull this all together real quick. The whole truth gives us this unified vision of life where comedy and tragedy are holding hands. Pure tragedy distills one emotion to give us a powerful, but ultimately incomplete, truth. And modern art? It tends to lean into the messy complexity of the whole truth, choosing intellectual honesty over a simple emotional release. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Look at the movies, the TV shows, the books that you love right now. Are they telling you the whole truth with all its messy contradictions? Or are they aiming for that chemically pure, tragic feeling? Which version of the truth do you think our culture values most today?